Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. As always, appreciate everybody who submitted their questions. Today's mailbag, let's keep it draft focused. Got a lot of draft questions here, so we'll go ahead and focus on the NFL draft. And I don't blame you guys. A lot of you guys are looking forward to the offseason after 3 straight losses. So we'll go ahead and kick things off with Brandon Hoyt using hashtag Bears. Should we target an offensive lineman in the first round or a quarterback? Well, here are my top needs, and it's very, very simple for me. After the top 2, I don't really care. Maybe wide receiver becomes a bigger need if Allen Robinson is gone, but it's still not going to crack my top 2. It's simple. Quarterback, offensive line. Offensive line, quarterback. Whatever order you want. I'm always going to put quarterback first because you got to have a quarterback. Otherwise, the rest of it doesn't really matter. But yes, you need an offensive lineman as well. Those are the top 2 needs. That's why you're asking about both. I think it just depends how the draft falls, right? Like, let's say the Bears are picking at 16. Let's say they kind of stumble here, go 8-8, miss the playoffs by a game or 2, pick 15 or 16, and the top 3 guys are gone. Fields, Lawrence, and Trey Lance. Maybe you don't go quarterback there. If Zach Wilson is there, maybe you do go quarterback there. Maybe if not, maybe you take an offensive tackle. It just depends on how the draft goes. Do you trade up? You guys ask about that later on in the show as well. So don't want to give all my answers on this first question because a lot of these questions can relate to this, but you got to go quarterback or offensive line in round 1. I don't see a scenario, at least at this point, that would suggest you would go in a different direction. Either O-line or quarterback, so we will see what happens in the first round. What is the bigger need? These are the 2 needs we continue to talk about, quarterback and O-line. Type QB for quarterback, type OL for offensive line. What do you guys think the bigger need is? I'm always going to say quarterback because it's the most important position in sports. But let me know, QB or OL. And while you're getting your votes in, get subscribed to Chicago Bears Now. My boss has told me, hey, that you can't get 100 new subscribers on today's show. I was like, do that in my sleep. I average almost over 100 new subs on every show. But hit that sub button. Let's prove the boss is wrong. We continue to grow. I want to get to 17,000 subs as soon as possible. We're almost 16,300. So hit that sub button if you haven't already. Daily Bears videos for 100% free when you subscribe. Appreciate that very, very much. So hit that button. All right, next up on our Bears mailbag, Doc Patel. Any chance Ryan Pace trades up for Justin Fields? He could be our franchise quarterback we always needed. A couple things. 1, who knows if Ryan Pace is the GM? But 2, it's going to be hard to get high enough to get Justin Fields because I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, Bears should tank. Okay, let's say the Bears lose out, right? 5-11. You're still going to have to trade up, which is why Mr. Patel here asks this question because Justin Fields is probably going to be the number 2 overall pick. I think Trevor Lawrence goes number 1 no matter what. After that, probably going to be Fields, barring something weird. Maybe if Dallas is picking number 2, they take Penei Sewell, the left tackle, instead and just sign Dak Prescott or something like that. But Fields and Lawrence are going to be the top 2 picks, and I think Fields will go number 2. So to trade up from, at worst, the Bears are going to be picking about number 10 at best, or at best number 10, at worst, 20 if they make the playoffs, whatever the case may be. It's going to cost a lot to get up there. Not saying I wouldn't do it, just saying it's going to cost a lot because Justin Fields having another fantastic season for Ohio State. He's put together about a year and a half now of just really good tape for NFL scouts, and it's going to go high. Worst case scenario, he goes top 5. So you're going to have to trade up for him, and that's going to be very, very hard to do, but you got to get a quarterback because Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky, not the long-term solution. We know Tyler Bray isn't either, so you got to get someone in here, whether it's one of those guys or someone else in the draft or in free agency. I'd love to get Justin Fields. Trading up for him is going to be very hard to do. Now, would you trade up for Fields? I'll make this the pinned comment on today's video, regardless of cost, because you got to factor in cost on this question. Would you trade up for Justin Fields? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Keep in mind, you're talking multiple first-round picks to get to that number 2 overall pick. So let me know, would you do it? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Next up on our mailbag, Ghostly Chino using hashtag Bears. Which quarterback should we target since Trevor, Justin, and Trey will most likely be gone by the time our pick comes by? So he's saying don't trade up. Who should we get if we're picking just where we are? Asking for a Bears or as a Bears fan, obviously. Who should the Bears draft? The top 3 guys are gone. So obviously the top 3, like you mentioned, Lawrence, Fields, Trey Lance. I think my next 2 guys are Zach Wilson. I think he's a clear number 4. I think he could be that 3rd guy when it's all said and done. And then Kyle Trask, the quarterback out of Florida, although I think it's a big drop-off after the top 4. of Wilson being that fourth guy. Would I take Wilson at 15? Probably I would. Yeah. Would I take Trask, though? Like, if Wilson's gone, would I take Trask, or I show you some other guys here, like a Mac Jones? Those are more round 2 guys, in my opinion. Then you get really to day 3 after that. Desmond Ridder, Jamie Newman, who never played for Georgia, transferred there, then opted out. Brock Purdy, I think, has regressed this year at Iowa State. Tanner Morgan hasn't done a ton this year at Minnesota. I think both those guys probably should stay in college another year. There's other guys out there, but after kind of Mac Jones, I think you're looking at day 3 type of selections. I mean, I don't like a Kellen Mond, really. It just depends. I would love Zach Wilson. I would be comfortable taking him top 20. So if he's there, I would take him. But if it's Trask or Jones, I'd probably go offensive line in round 1, and then I see what happens in round 2 with these quarterbacks. Name a quarterback outside of the top 3 guys that you would like to see the Bears draft. So no Lawrence, no Fields, no Lance. Who do you want the Bears to draft if those top 3 guys are gone? I want Zach Wilson. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Before we get to our next question, Veterans Day just passed, and we have Salute to Service Bears gear available at chatsports.com/salute Bears. We got hats. We got some jerseys, including this Walter Payton one. A couple of others as well. I know Khalil Mack and a Trubisky one are available for you guys as well. We got women's gear, long sleeve hoodies for both men and women, t-shirts, all kinds of sizes are available at chatsports.com/salute Bears. Appreciate anyone who is a veteran out there for your service. You are the heroes of our country. And guess what? All the proceeds for this stuff goes to military nonprofit partners. It supports our troops. So, hey, goes to a good cause. Chatsports.com/salute Bears. Check the comments, check the description. Get yourself some sweet Bears Salute to Service gear. There's a lot of good stuff available. So take advantage. That link will be in the comments and in the description. Okay, a couple more questions here. Meme Mafia wants to know, what position should the Bears be focused on getting in the first 3 rounds of the draft? Again, kind of similar to what you guys have been asking. Offensive line quarterback. Maybe a receiver in round 3, but first 2 rounds got to be O-line and quarterback. If you don't do that, that means you either did something crazy in free agency or in a trade, or your front office isn't doing their job, because it is clear what the problems on this roster are, and it's quarterback and offensive line. So how about 2 offensive linemen and a quarterback? Get a tackle, get a guard, get a quarterback. Sounds good to me. Maybe you trade down, get an extra pick in there as well. Like, get as much as you can to revamp this O-line and get a promising quarterback for the future. That is what you need to do early on in this draft and in free agency as well, but we're focused on the draft today. That is what needs to happen, because this offense just hadn't been good. It just, the passing yards per game is okay at 21st in the NFL, but a lot of that's in garbage time. Like, Nick Foles threw for 335 last week. That game was 17-0 midway through the third quarter. Like, the offense needs to improve, and it starts with the quarterback and it starts with the offensive line. So that is what I would do early on in the draft if I was Ryan Pace, or whoever the next GM is if Pace gets fired. But we've talked a ton about quarterback and offensive line. Harrison, shut up. You keep saying the same stuff. Well, I'm trying to keep it fresh, but I get it. These are what the questions are. I'm just answering them. What is the biggest need outside of quarterback and offensive line? Because there's other needs. You could get some linebacker help. You could get a wide receiver with or without A-Rob. You could use another guy on the outside. How about tight end? I think you get another tight end to go with Cole Kmet, because I think cutting Jimmy Graham's pretty likely to only have that $1 million dead cap hit next year. So let me know. Biggest need that's not quarterback or offensive line on this roster. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Last one here from Alex Lancaster using hashtag Bears. Appreciate it, Alex. What are your thoughts on Sam Ehlinger as a late-round quarterback prospect if we prioritize offensive line in the draft? Well, first of all, then you can prioritize quarterback and O-line, but I hear your point. Maybe the draft falls where you don't take a quarterback early and you want to get kind of a project late. Don't mind Ehlinger as a project. He's regressed completion percentage-wise this year. He's down from 64 to about 59, so that's not a great sign. He's always been an up-and-down accuracy guy. At times, he gets into the zone, can't miss. Other times, he's just airmailing guys. He's very Tim Tebow-esque. Great leader, great rah-rah guy, good runner, fantastic character, high character guy. So that's a guy worth taking in the 5th, 6th, 7th round, bringing him into your organization. Maybe he can do some short yardage type of stuff and be like a high-level backup quarterback. Don't think he'll ever be a starter, but this is a guy worth bringing into your organization because he has a lot of good character. But hey, he could go back to college. With college football getting extra eligibility, this year being a free year, he might just go back to school. But put up huge numbers at Texas, passing and rushing. Like I said, the accuracy's kind of come and gone, about 62.5% as a thrower. We know he's a great runner. He's rushed it over 530 times during his time in Austin. So you wonder if he's taken a bit of a physical beating. I can tell you he has. He's taken a lot of hits. But we'll see. Sam Ehlinger's an intriguing prospect, but if you think he's like a starter, no. This is a high-character backup type. Got no problem taking him on day 3 in the draft, but if you think he's going to come in here and save this offense, you've got a rude awakening coming. All right, that's all we have time for today. Thanks to everybody who submitted their questions. We'll have another mailbag very, very soon, so use hashtag Bears in the comments. I'm Harrison Graham signing off here on Chicago Bears Now.